Hello everyone and welcome to the Sunday Night Racing League. We are here today for round 2 of season 10 of GTE, and I'm joined in the commentary box today by Bunnies, or Adrian as I'll be calling him.
Hello. Excited to be back here once again with you this time, and we have GTE ahead of us, and that is a very exciting prospect. Always great racing in this league.
Always the strongest drivers seem to rear their heads in GTE within SNL. So, of course, being a not live broadcaster, we will start by running through the qualifying order. On pole position, you have myself, Cool Dude Boy, with a 1:30.9. Remarkably fast time. Surprised I got it. Did not repeat it in the race. Actually, before we get too far with the qualifying order, let's talk about the tyres. So Ferrari brought to this track softs and mediums. Porsche, Mercedes, the two other teams, only brought the mediums and the hards, giving Ferrari the massive advantage in qualifying. Hence why you shall see that there's a lot of Ferraris towards the front of this here qualifying grid. So to continue on the order, alongside on the front row, you have got Silent Wolf taking up that second slot. Third slot taken up by Tiny Terror with that lovely red and yellow Ferrari livery. Then Chris Boo, fourth Ferrari, taking up the top 4 slots. The only drivers to get within the 131s were those Ferraris on that soft compound. Next up, the first of the non-Ferraris is Bunnies in that Mercedes. Fastest on the medium, 32.4, 9/10 adrift of any of the guys in soft tyres, and 1.5 seconds adrift of the pole time. Alongside him is teammate Gazman, third place last week for him. And then Jam, 3 Mercedes in a row actually. He got 4 Ferraris and 3 Mercedes. But Jam, P7, just behind in time. All of these very, very close together on the medium tyres. Paul Shark, the last of the Ferraris, starting P8, 5,000ths adrift of Jam in that qualifying. Then Victor Rain, very fast driver, seemed to struggle in qualifying here. 1.9 seconds off the pole, even with qualifying on the mediums, still more time back than you would expect. But of course, only given 5 minutes due to the GTE format. So I guess you'll have to see if you can do better in the race. Then Aloy, his teammate just behind, starting 10th. Next row, Canadian lockout for the 6th row with Yax. And then Ajax with his wonderful Ajax sponsor. Then the last 2 drivers, you have got Morcherry and Rob. 3 Porsches right at the back of the grid. I think that about sums it up.
Yep, unfortunately Ben did have connection issues during qualifying, so was unable to compete in the entirety of qualifying and will be unable to compete, well, was unable to compete in the race as well, unfortunately.
Yeah, okay, right, so let's get into the race.
So, just before we go quickly, there's a little bit of an echo on the screen.
Okay, thank you for letting me know. Hopefully it isn't as bad now.
Alright, well, I'm happy to get going.
Can you quickly speak just to make sure I haven't got the sensors wrong?
There does seem to be a little bit still.
Yeah. I don't really have another way of getting rid of it other than just turning down as much as I can. So I think we'll have to hope it's not too bad for the rest and get underway with the race. I will let you take it away off the lights.
All right. We have 3, 4, 5 red lights here at Dragon Trail. It's lights out and we are racing in Croatia. It's a good getaway for Cool Dude Boy, but it's an even better getaway for Silent Wolf down towards turn 1. It's 4 Ferraris in a row flying through that flat, or not flat, but fast left-hander into the chicane now. You can see Bunny's trying to pressure and Tiny Terror. No move yet. The black and blue Mercedes trying to make a move already on any of the 4 Ferraris ahead of them. It's Tiny Terror who's going to move to the outside though. With bunnies on the inside, can he make a move on the Spa-Francorchamps, or the Francorchamps Motors car? He does, into the hairpin. He's through into fourth, and that is a Mercedes braking into the Ferrari brigade at the front. Gasman behind now as well will be looking for a move from that Man Filter's Mercedes. Silent Wolf does lead the way from Cool Dude Boy, Chris Boo, Bunnies, Tiny Terror, Gasman, Victory Ray, who's made up many positions on this opening lap in that Victory Fuel Porsche. Then it's Jam, Yax, Aloe, Ajax, Pool Shark, Cherry Bomb, and Rob on drums, who seems to have had an incident potentially with more Cherry or Cherry Bomb, as you'll see his name there.
Yeah, these drivers both a long way back on the mediums and the hards, I guess. Got fresh air to work those tyres. As the Silent Wolf out front, they just run away with the soft tyres. The front two really escaping the rest of the field. As here we go, Bunnies now looking for the move on Crispy with the inside line. Has the tyre disadvantage, doesn't care, goes for it, sends it up the inside, running a little bit deep on exit. Are we going to see a move here into the chicane? Crispy with the inside line, Bunny's cutting him off around the outside, moving himself up into P3 past all the Ferraris running those softs. Gasman now also pressuring Tiny, though a little bit too much on the curb, costing him some time. Now potentially under threat from Victory Rain, a very fast driver. Struggled in the qualifying, but as you mentioned, already up plenty of positions, looking for the move, perhaps braking too early there. Not giving himself a chance to go for the move. Oh, we got Chris Boo going wide there, and all of a sudden they're all bunched up 3 wide here through this twisty section. Who's going to come out on top? It appears to be Gasman. So yeah, slight bit of contact there between Victory Rain and Gasman. Chris Boo demoted to P7 despite his qualifying P4 and getting up to P3 off the line. Getting the jump on Bunnies there.
Yep, so Chris Boo's struggling in the early stages of this race. We'll see if that continues throughout the next little section of this race. Jam, the next driver behind him, had a tough time last time out in Lago Maggiore, but we'll see if he can make some moves, bring himself up to 7th. He's got Yax behind him, his teammate in that Vodafone Mercedes, following the BWT Mercedes. Two sponsors we are very used to seeing in racing. And these two drivers carrying those colors well.
Oh yeah, certainly. Well, it's a wonderful season of liveries, isn't it? Got all sorts of amazing liveries up and down the grid. Only 3 teams this time around: Ferrari, the Mercedes, and the Porsche, because 3 very iconic motorsporting brands.
Indeed, but a lot of very cool filters. Man filters, I should say. Livery sponsors generally. So it looks like a mistake for Tiny Terror. It's going to give Gasman an opportunity here on the outside, down towards the first corner of Sector 2. He's going to have to go the long way around. Oh, not even close. He's out breaking himself. He's off on the dirty stuff, and that's going to get Victory through, and potentially Chris Boo as well, as the Mercedes drops a couple positions. And Chris Boo through into 6th, back up into 6th. And maybe this race is turning back around for Chris Boo. Could he be moving up positions? He's a little bit wide there. He's got to be careful with that. Some of the curves on the outside of the circuit are absolutely gigantic and will throw your car into a wall, whether you like it or not.
Yeah, Gasman really struggling there, going from 1 position gained and losing 2 in the process. But as you mentioned, you go off just over those white lines, and all of a sudden the track's so dirty. You lose grip, you understeer off, and you've lost place. You've worked so hard to gain this victory lane, losing a lot of traction out of the exit of that corner. Crispy behind him on the soft compound, not quite gaining enough. Maybe we might see a move here. Victory Rain's pace is certainly very good. Racecraft isn't his strongest suit, but the raw pace he has sometimes isn't always too bad.
Yep, we're going to see if Chris can make that move on Victory Rain. We've got some very fast drivers on this grid, and I'm expecting some amazing battles throughout this race. Oh, Jam goes round in the background. I think that was the BWT Mercedes. It was into the wall, unfortunately, out of turn 4, and Ajax going towards the inside, more Cherry and Shark the outside. And that is an unfortunate moment there for Jam. Drops down to 13, out of, I believe he was in about 7th or 8th before. And yeah, now he sits in 13th, unfortunately. Cool Shark up in 12th in the Victoria's Secret Ferrari, chasing down Mortuary. We'll see if he can make a move at some point in the near future. A little bit of a gap there. Aloe in 9th, Yax in 8th, and we go back up as Crispu is now pressuring Victory Rain very hard. We're in the third sector, and he's going to go towards the penultimate corner, looking for a move on the outside. Can he make the move? It's later braking for Victory Rain, and Crispu, just a bit wide, won't quite be able to get the run like that.
Yeah, really trying, but I think he's just going to struggle so much. Getting past Victory Rain is so tricky. He's such a strong driver in the pace that just kind of... getting past him is so tricky because it takes such an optimal line through the corners, even on the mediums of the track. He does seem to be struggling with quite a lot, especially that quali pace. His car is just on the optimal line. Getting past the car on the optimal line is never an easy task. Tiny Terror clattering over the curbs. You can see the tyre wear on those soft compound, that rear right wearing quite heavily. How is it doing for front two? Tyre wear especially heavy for Silent Wolf. I mean, look at his rear right, nearly halfway worn after just 4 laps. But 4 laps he's done now. Sorry, his previous 3 laps have all been in the 31s, which is not something Cool Boy has managed to replicate, and certainly not someone any of the drivers in mediums have managed to replicate.
No, Money's lap time there at 32.6, I think. Tiny Terror at 32.3, I think I saw as well. So the drivers behind Cool Dude Boy struggling to even get into the 31s, in fact. I mean, Victory Rain on mediums, Gasman on mediums. That's a 32.6 there for Gasman as well. Very similar to Bunny's. We saw that in qualifying as well. Before Bunny's final qualifying lap, they were exactly even, down to the 1,000th of a second in qualifying. Bunny's final quali run did put him ahead, but for the time being, it's Victory Rain. They are in 5th, Gasman in 7th. Crispu, I don't think has been into the 31s either. And that's a big moment for Crispu. Crispu is going to get overtaken here for sure with Gasman going up the inside. We'll see how close Yax is behind. I think he'll be too far behind to make a move on this occasion, but Yax will notice that. He'll see the soft tires wearing out, and he will be thinking, this is my time, this is my opportunity. He'll want to make up for his mistake last week where he ran out of fuel just on the final lap of the race. Second time doing that in Italy, unfortunately, after doing that in Formula X as well in Monza. And there is Yax trying to get a switchback even on the inside. He'll go down towards the hairpin side by side with Crispu. 7th and 8th are these drivers, the Canadian on the inside of the Mauritius driver. Late braking for Crispu, but Yax does have that inside line. Can he make the move? He can. Can he out-fraction Crispu, though? Crispu's softs still giving a little bit of life, a tiny bit of contact there, but Yax is safely through into 7th place.
Yeah, of course, the advantage to Ferraris bringing the soft tyre to this track. They can go as fast as they like in qualifying. They have the top 4 positions. They show the advantage of being the only team to bring softs. The disadvantage being, once you've gone through the softs, all of a sudden you've got no tyre wear, and everyone else you were previously faster than, you were able to get past. Now they're the ones in the faster tyre, you're the one sliding around, and they're going to get right past through you. As you can see, Crispu has been just gradually falling down through the field. We're likely to see the same here with Bunny's, as Victory Rain is now right on his tail. Although having said that, Victory Rain is having a moment and a half there, I guess. Tiny Terror is safe for now. The front 2 runners are still Silent Wolf and Cooldy Boy. Cooldy Boy's had a couple of really slow laps though, pulling right away from Silent Wolf, who is still in the 31s. Now actually improved to 31.6 from his previous 31.7. Managed to match that, but look at that rear right tyre down to about 20%. Now much worse than even his teammates, as Bunny's is still consistently in 32s, which is exactly what he needs to be doing on the mediums. But let's hop on board back with this P4 battle, the mediums, Victory Rain versus the softs. Tiny Terror, those wearing softs. It'll be seemingly a lap or 2 before all those drivers are forced into the pits on the soft compound. That is going to give edge to Victory Rain. Bides his time, certainly waits for the clean overtake. We'll see when it happens. A little bit of lag going on. Nothing too bad, nothing that should scare the drivers too much. Yeah, you can see the drop of pace, 7/10 red for this here Ferrari. Gasman himself not too far off the back of these two actually. Victory Rain being in the dirty air is going to get slowed down a little bit. not believe this is when he'll have the opportunity to go for the move, but there's a chance he goes for a big send, but not really his style.
I feel. As Silent Wolf into the pits, I think you'll find Victory Rain is one of the most patient drivers in this entire league, but more notably at the moment, Silent Wolf into the pits, off of those soft tires at the end of lap 7, and Cool Dude Boy, Tiny Terror, none of the Ferraris following him interestingly. So that is the Mauritian driver already into the pits before any of his teammates. So the leader changes hands. Now it's Cool Dude Boy, although you can see Bunny's right on the back of him, similar to how Victory Rain was on the back of Tiny Terror. So Cool Boy takes the lead, usurps it if you will, and Silent Wolf into the pits, but he's come out in 7th, so he's got a very, very good gap already to only be in 7th place as he comes out of the pits. As Victory Rain down the inside on Tiny Terror. Ooh, it's a big slide for Tiny Terror. It's too much of a slide for Tiny Terror, who goes round. He's going to drop a couple positions here. Can he get the car rotated quickly enough? A nice little flick spin gets him going in the right direction, but we're going to have Silent Wolf right on the back of his teammate here. Flashing his lights as Silent Wolf, in fact, to let Tiny Terror know that he is there. He is on fresh softs, and he is wanting to get through. A little bit far back at the moment, as actually a bad exit for Tiny Terror, though, and Silent Wolf is going to go down the inside here. A little bit of contact between teammates. The Francorchamps Motors Ferrari's off into the grass, spins round on the quadruple right-hander, and that is not going to be something Tiny Terror is pleased with. His race going from pretty good battling Victory Rain to 2 spins in the space of 1 lap. But we've got a triage of Porsches here now. 7-Eleven, DK Engineering, and Ajax all right behind each other, flying along on this lap 8. All 3 of these drivers should be on mediums as Tiny Terror peels into the pits. Cool Dude Boy has done the same, and Bunnies does take the lead of the race now.
Yeah, the race will get them shaken up by the strategy. Hard to tell who is where. The Ferrari is pitting now, looking for the 4 stop. The rest of the field will be looking for the 3 stop. It's these 3 Porsches. Sometimes you help your teammates, sometimes you know you're their opponents. I wonder how much fighting we shall see between them. But of course, Cool Dude Boy, as he's just come out the pits in a fresh set of softs, immediately clattering right over the curb. Not particularly at the line you want to be taking. That'll cost him a second or 2. These guys in slipstream. Ajax right on the back of Cherry Bomb. We're about to see a move. No, braking early to avoid fighting his teammates. Fuel-wise, though, look how much more fuel Ajax has burnt compared to Cherry Bomb. I mean, that is a substantial amount amongst these 3. Definitely Cherry Bomb with the most. Let's have a look further up. Silent Wolf in 5th, despite having had his pit stop. He's still got these group of drivers all on the mediums. Victory Rain, Yax, and Gazman. There is Bunnies. He's just got that slight bit of advantage to them time-wise. Pulling away, seems to be the fastest of those drivers on the mediums. As again, Victory Rain pushing that final corner. Really seems to be struggling there with getting on the power too early, getting on the curb, unsettling his car. The trio still battling on. Let's have a look further back down the order. Paul Shark chose to start on the hards, the only one of the Ferrari drivers who did so. Now up to 11th, partly courtesy to the rest of the Ferrari drivers, pitting for another set of tyres. He's chasing Jam at the moment. Jam on the medium compound, so he's going to have the tyre advantage. Certainly burnt through more fuel though, as Rob peeling into the pits from P12. 2 Ferraris of Tiny Terror and Crispy, with Crispy running wide towards the back of the field. Okay, let's look for a bit of action. There's Gazman on the back of Yax. And then there's Cool Dude Boy actually working his way through this trio of Porsches.
Yeah, let's see how Cool Dude Boy can get through here in that Hot Wheels Ferrari on the back of the Ajax Porsche. Ajax, of course, both the name of the driver and the sponsor. Ajax Soap, if you're wondering. Cool Dude Boy, though, is going to look through the S section. He is on fresher, softer tires. He's going to stick his nose up the inside. Surely not. He can't quite pull off the move there. And he's going to be right on the back of Ajax. He's going to look to the inside of the quadruple right-hander. Oh, that was close. But Ajax runs wide, and Cool Dude Boy is going to get through here. Through into 8. Ajax running out a little bit wide there. That'll he'll be bleeding time the entire time through there. But Cool Dude Boy is through, and he'll be looking at Cherry Bomb now, who himself is looking at a Lowy as Cherry Bomb, I think, actually having to take evasive action, possibly outbraking himself and a Lowy there, nearly hitting the back of the 7-Eleven car. But DK Engineering does stay on the road. It's green, white, orange, and blue. You've got so many colors on this grid. It really is a beautiful grid this season, but the number 18 is going to be in this little sandwich of drivers, looking at a Lowy, but also looking in his mirror because Cool Dude Boy is on a charge now. These fresh softs, he needs to take advantage of them if he wants to hold on to second in this race, as Bunnies was closing in on him towards the end of that first stint, but that's going to be a big mistake from Cool Dude Boy there. Lucky to stay ahead of Ajax, lucky to keep it on the track. A very nice save, though. Down by a second on his fastest lap, though, and this is not looking brilliant for Cool Dude Boy, but Gasman sits on the back of Yax and Victory Rain now, and Yax very, very low on fuel on these mediums. Yax has never run this high in a GTE race before, I do believe. He was quite high up in Lago Maggiore at one point, but I don't think he was as high as third. Victory Rain sits in second. It'll surely be into the pits this lap for Yax. We'll see if it is for Bunnies as well. Victory Rain, however, does continue. Yax is in. Gasman thinks he can go an extra lap compared to his teammates, and there we have it. Silent Wolf up into third again. After his pit stop, he's just at a 30.8. That is an absurd lap time. What a lap. And a Lowy sits in sixth. Cool Dude Boy will be looking to get past him next.
Yeah, Cool Dude Boy getting past Cherry Bomb at some point as these drivers come out past the guys in the pits. I don't think going to get involved. You can see their Bunnies coming out the pit lane behind this group of cars battling, but with the reassurance only having 3 stops compared to the Ferraris looking at their 4 stop now. Cool Dude Boy right on the back of the Lowy, nowhere to go. I mean, there's only really one line to take for this chicane. Looking for the move, pulling alongside on exit. There is he far enough ahead. Lowy cutting him off, actually getting bumped by the netcode there to his advantage. Lowy now going for the inside line. What is going to happen? Forced to go wide. Are we going to see cutback? It looks like we are. And that is the full car ahead. Cool Dude Boy up into P4. Lowy down to P5 and likely pitting at the end of this lap on his mediums. And now interesting to point out, the Porsche seems to be their front tyres wearing faster. The Ferrari is the rear tyre. Both teams, of course, right-hand tyres wearing more courtesy of the anti-clockwise track.
Yep. And
oh, hello. We've got a driver around there. Is that Chris? Ooh. He is majorly round. 7 seconds cost him, plus the rest of the straight is going to lose there. Damage to the front of the car. Must have been that dreaded curb on the outside, just causing it to go into a spin. The Ferraris seem to be the spinners so far this race. Oh yeah, nearly spinning again on the exit there. His tyres are still hot from that instant. A couple drivers into the pit. Victory Rain, Gasman and a Lowy. Cherry Bomb still yet to come into the pits. I believe the only driver who we can say that for is Victory Rain coming out on track. Yax, where is he going to be compared to them? Ahead of Gasman, but behind a Victory Rain, this trio of drivers brought back together yet again. This Victory Rain going off into the grass, going deep. Is he gonna hold on? Can he settle the car? Yax nowhere to go. I mean, that's the problem with this set series of corners. There is just nowhere to go. It has to remain P6 for the moment.
Yeah, and Yax sitting in sixth. Currently, he's sitting behind Victory Rain. He will have warmer tires than Victory Rain, though, which could pay dividends by the end of the lap. But at this point, Victory Rain starting to warm up his tires. A little bit of a mistake there from Yax, going a little bit wide around the hairpin. So I'd say Victory Rain looking safe for the time being. We'll see if Victory Rain can really put his foot down on this stint and try to catch up to Bunnies ahead, get away from these 2 Mercedes, pull up to the one in front, and then potentially even the Ferraris. That's where we expected him to be throughout this season, is right at the front of the grid. A good round last time out, finishing second, I believe, in Lago Maggiore, but not up with the Ferraris or Bunnies this time round. His teammate Not mentioning Morcherry in that little section because Morcherry does still need to pit, so we will drop well back. And I'll notice now, we are on lap 14. I believe Silent Wolf pitting on lap 7 last time out, so it's very possible we'll see him in the pits this time round. His soft's very worn. His fuel looking okay, though, so he could definitely go another lap in terms of the fuel. It's entirely down to his tires, but I'll notice both of his previous 2 laps have been 33 zeros. So after his absolute storming 30.8, he's been 3 seconds off, well, 2.2 seconds off twice in a row. He's sliding around a little bit, very cautious on the throttle, as you can see with his throttle inputs in the bottom right corner. And that Team Shadow Realm Racing car is going around the corners very cautiously, it must be said. I do wonder if Cool Dude Boy will even be gaining at this point. 32.1 and a 32.4 in the past 2 laps. He is gaining. At the moment, it seems like we'll see what he gets on this lap. The Hot Wheels Ferrari might not gain after a tiny little off like that. Not far off the track, but that will have cost him a little bit of time. And we have Yax on the back of Victory Rain. Gasman falling back now, but these two pulling away the 93 and the 19. We'll see, you can see Bunny's up in the distance there. These two might be chasing after him now. We'll see if they can gain on him, maybe make some moves in a few laps' time if they can gain on him. We'll just have to wait and see as the Vodafone car looking for a move on the Victory Fuel car.
Yeah, these guys, I mean, there seem to be no to tell the whole race, don't they? The lap times pretty much matching each other, time to time. Slightly quicker from Yax, so that's around. We saw Victor Rain's mistake at the start of that lap. Seems to be pushing his car right to the limit, and again using all of the curb, but we've seen him use all of the curb and more at times as Yax sliding through that first one. Victor Rain reluctant to ride over the curbs there, taking a slightly safer line, but having a moment there, having a big moment there. And around goes Victor Rain into the wall, damage to the front, his tyre's not doing too well. And he's still in the wall. He's been quite slow to get it out of it. He's got a clear track behind him, safe to go ahead. A yellow flag there showing the way of Tiny Terror. Yeah, you can see the tyres starting to wear on him there. Silent Wolf, I mean, he's going to have to pick this lap, isn't he? Look at his rear right tyre. He would not want to take that one more lap. Same not true for the other Ferraris. And look at the state of these tyres and the bunnies. Happily just going away there. Holds on to that 3rd position. The lead of the medium runners looking in with a strong shout of making that 3-stop work. Yeah, there we go. Silent Wolf pulling into hit lane. Ajax and Cherry Bomb still close, but I think these two opting to not battle, being the 2 Porsche teammates deciding, you know what, I'll happily sit in P10. I'm not going to push too much. I shall remain here to see what I can make of it. Further back down, it is still Chris Boo and Paul Sharp. Chris Boo really struggling on those tyres. See a few mistakes. Look at its lap time. He's got 47.5, 44.1, and neither of those would have been pit stop laps either. His pit stop was that 2 into 11 down in lap 7, so seems to be really struggling to get a grip with this car. I don't know about you, but I consider it to be the hardest car to handle on the grid.
It might just be the Mercedes, quite a pleasant car, and the Porsche, I've driven it before. A very fun car, possibly a bit on the edge sometimes as Chris Boo around again, quite possibly proving your point. A bit of a nosedive into the barriers there, trying to get his car turned around. Gets out of the way of Pool Shark though, so very sportsmanlike from him to just make sure he's out of the way for his teammate. The Apex Ferrari having a very tough time of it this race, it must be said. Several slow lap times. You can see there a 47, a 44, and this one won't be much better, if at all. It is into the pits, in fact, for Chris Boo, as he's got damage on his front bumper. That pit stop won't be to repair that, but it will be for his tires and fuel. We now have Cool Dude Boy out in the lead after Silent Wolf's pit stop. The terrifying thing, if you are Bunnies or Cool Dude Boy, is the fact that Silent Wolf has come out of the pits a full pit stop in only 3rd. So the Ferrari there is absolutely just brutal pace, and I just can't imagine how Bunnies and Cool Dude Boy would be feeling seeing that, as Cool Dude Boy into the pits. Silent Wolf will take 2nd, Yax will take 3rd, Bunnies takes first in the meantime. Gasman, you can see him back there in fifth. He is still on the mediums. He will have to run hards at some point in this race, as will the rest of the Mercedes and all the Porsches. And so will all the Ferraris, in fact. Actually, every team going with a set of hards for this round, but most drivers not having driven those hards yet, as we have side-by-side. Where have we seen this before? Season 6 finale, Victory Rain and Cool Dude Boy side-by-side through this chicane. It was a championship decider last time, and it was also in the other direction last time, but this time round, Cool Dude Boy, fresh out of pits, gets out ahead of Victory Rain, but Victory Rain is not going to let this be through quite so easily. He's going to look for a switchback here at the hairpin, defended nicely from Cool Dude Boy. Victory Rain unable to pull off the switchback there, and the Porsche's just going to have to sit looking at the back of the Ferrari through the S's, through the quadruple right-hander, and then he'll have options if he can stay close enough through the dirty air, but it'll be fresh softs versus few lap-old mediums. Victory Rain's pace will be good at this stage in the stint. His personal best of the race last lap, a 32.5 in fact, but Cool Dude Boy's fresh softs will be giving him the grip to go into the 31s quite possibly, so we'll just have to wait and see. Victory Rain probably going to drop off the back of Cool Dude Boy a bit here, but with Cool Dude Boy's tires, that is to be expected.
Yeah, of course, the fresh tyres on pole sitter for those softs. Certainly don't expect him to keep up too much, although not having lost too much time. We saw in qualifying the softs were a full second a lap quicker, if not more. That does not seem to be the case this time around. Not pulled away that full second gap, so we'll see if that continues for the remainder of this stint. 32.8 on the outlap, of course, always hard to tell with an outlap. But coming out in P5, certainly looking good for that Ferrari driver. But the same cannot be said further down the orders. You've got Chris Boo being blue flagged. Oh, hello, nearly coming to a stop here from his blue flag. Pull shot going wide. It's Ferrari 12, 13, 14 at the moment. But Tiny Terror just coming off the back of a pit stop. Have been qualified P3, I believe, his strongest ever GTE qualifying by quite a strong margin. I don't know if you know where the best he's qualified before.
I would definitely wager a guess that it's P3 this weekend. Before that, not quite sure what it would have been. He's had some good qualifying performances for sure in his career in SNL, but nothing quite at that level, I don't believe.
Yeah, as we still got a pair of Porsches, Cherry Bomb and Ajax. Have these two been next to each other the entire race? Are they going to be next to each other for the remainder of the race? I'm surprised they haven't tried swapping around, even though you don't want to fight your teammate. Do you see if one driver is faster than the other, let him ahead and see what they can do with that? Not seen any on-track action at the moment as yet. As expected, the Ferrari Cool Boy pulling ahead of Victory Rain here. 31.7 to 32.6, 9/10 that lap. I'm sure while the softs are still fairly fresh, the gap is just going to continue to build. Don't see any battling going on, although Silent Wolf, despite being an extra pit stop up 2 stops he's had so far, nearly on the back of Bunnies. I mean, that's a second and a half, despite the fact that is an entire extra pit stop, an entire extra set of tyres, and he hasn't even been on the stint all that long. Pit at the end of lap 15, so this is his 4th lap on these tyres. Being slow on the maths there. Half a second red, of course, softs once they pass the prime, they do start to fall off a bit. It's nearly over onto the dirty stuff. That's going to cost him. He's going to struggle a bit with the wear. Does the fuel advantage at the moment? We'll see when these two pit, likely around similar times, despite the fact that they are on completely different strategies, completely different tyres brought to the track. I shall keep an eye on that, look for any changes before the lead. Hopefully not miss out on any of the important action.
And Victory Rain here, we'll see on those mediums, lots of fuel left. Victory Fuel is his main sponsor, of course, so good to see when he has lots of fuel left. It's not quite the round Victory Rain will have been looking for, I don't think. I think he will have known, seeing the Ferraris on softs, that Cool Dude Boy and Silent Wolf would both be very, very rapid in this race. But I think he will have been hoping, being on the same tires as the Mercedes, to at least be up in 3rd. But at the moment, it's Silent Wolf putting pressure on Bunnies. Silent Wolf's last lap, a 31.4, but before that, a 30.8 as he's going to look down the inside. No opportunities there, not quite yet, but a big snap of oversteer is going to stop him from making any moves up into the S section. It's going to be Bunnies who leads the way in that Sega livery. That Mercedes trying to hold ahead the split livery as, oh my goodness, really thought Silent Wolf was going around for a moment there, nearly puts it in the wall, keeps it going forwards, and regardless of his pace, you have to say his car control is very, very impressive. Might want to consider a career in rallying, in fact, with that level of car control, as the Ferrari driver does now sit right in the slipstream of the Mercedes. He'll look to see if he has an opportunity, but it's not going to be at all possible into the penultimate corner, neither into the final corner, really one long corner, these two. We'll see, can he make the move down towards turn 1 though, in the slipstream, fresh, well, not so much fresh softs anymore, but still softs at this stage, giving him good grip, as we can see his teammate Poolshark coming out of the pit lane now. Silent Wolf is going to be behind Bunnies, who runs quite wide with the dirty air. Silent Wolf's going to have an opportunity on the inside of the chicane now. He goes for it, but Bunnies tries to close the door, does hold the position for the time being through the chicane, but he's going to have a tight line through the third part of it. Silent Wolf going to go for a switchback. Is he going to have an opportunity here in the slipstream of Bunnies? You can see all of those Sonic characters on the back of his car. Going down the inside of Silent Wolf, it's late on the brakes. Can the Sega car keep it on the outside? Bunny's unable to defend that position, and Silent Wolf through into the lead of the race. Both of these drivers will be pitting soon, I would think, but for now, it is Silent Wolf ahead, and that is despite an extra pit stop compared to everyone else on the grid, bar the other Ferraris. What insane pace from him.
Yeah, crazy pace, especially given man didn't even get pole. He was a 10th off pole, of course, only his Ferrari teammate who was ahead. We're about halfway through the race now, so we will do a quick recap through the grid. Of course, Silent Wolf, Bunnies, P1, P2, watching that battle, seeing the lead change. I'd like to see another one, given the pace Silent Wolf showing, although this tyres, there's a chance. Yax in P3, he'll be looking for a pit stop in the next lap or two. Gasman as well, he's going his stints a bit longer, but holding P4 at the moment. Mediums serving his well. P5, Calder Boy, a few weak laps here and there, 33.3 from him last lap. So it does seem to be struggling to activate the softs the same way his teammate Silent Wolf has. P5 for him. Victory Rain behind P6. We've seen him make a spin earlier out that first chicane in sector 1. Then a Lowy P7 followed shortly by the Porsche pair of Cherry Bomb and Ajax, the two who just cannot seem to leave each other alone here on this track. Those two, 8 and 9. Jam in P10 in that beautiful BWT Mercedes livery, happily chugging along on those medium tyres. His front right actually burning a lot quicker than his rear right. I wonder if he's not using brake balance to help spread the tyre wear more evenly. Less importantly, you have to work with the softs. Tiny Terror in P11. Another driver who's having to work with the softs here. Had 2 stops already at this stage of the race. They're looking at his next one in a few laps, 4 or 5 maybe. Then Rob just having come out the pits, P12 for him. Poolshark, P13. Just saw him get lapped and almost help his teammate Silent Wolf, giving Bunny some dirty air. And then last we have Chris Boo, who is thoroughly lapped. Those two amongst kind of the midfield now. As our two leaders still very, very close together. I mean, look at the rear right on that car, sliding all over the shop, surely into the pit lane. Yes, for Bunnies as well. He's out of fuel. Silent Wolf out of tyres. Our two leaders into the pit. Silent Wolf with the fuel advantage will give him a bit of leeway coming ahead. Yax into the pit lane as well. The front 3 drivers, Gasman surely not pitting given his tyres and fuel. I suspect the same for Calder Boy as well. Plenty of tyres, plenty of fuel. These two could be inheriting P1 and P2 is, cutting ahead of the rest of the field. See how far ahead Silent Wolf comes out. He's ahead of Victory Rain. The second time Victory Rain has come out. Oh, sorry, had someone come out the pit lane directly ahead of him, not able to gain the position. And look at how much of a gap Victory Rain has built over Bunnies because of that pit stop. Not going to see an overtake here from Victory Rain and Silent Wolf. The tyre disparity too much from that man ahead with the fastest lap. And They're still, I don't know, cutting the grass a little bit to get his line a bit more optimised. We'll hop on board with this lead battle.
Yeah, Cool Dude Boy on the back of Gasman. Man Filter versus Hot Wheels here at the lead of the race. Softs versus mediums, though. Mercedes versus Ferrari. We've got lots of differences in these two cars, but what isn't different is the piece of tarmac they are on. They are going to be battling here, you would imagine. I don't know how much longer either of these drivers will be on this stint, but both of them surely will be for at least another lap. As Cool Dude Boy is going to sit on the back of Gasman, we'll see if he has an opportunity anytime soon. Into the penultimate corner, there is no opportunity yet, although he does close up a lot. Nearly does go for the move. That would have been quite something. Sits on the back of Gasman for the time being there, the rear end floating a little bit as he goes around the final corner. We'll see as he puts his foot down if he'll be able to get ahead of Gasman, not into turn 1, but perhaps into turn 2 if he can nail the line through here. A very difficult corner, very, very easy to understeer wide out onto that curb and off into the grass and barriers. No opportunities into 2, not into 3 and not into 4 I wouldn't think, but into the hairpin of turn 5. We'll see if he has an opportunity. A lot of curb being taken there from Gasman, but it's working for him. The Mercedes driver surely will maintain the lead for the time being. That number 89, couple of 33s in the past few laps. 32 a few laps ago, but sitting in the high 32s, low 33s as there's contact, little bit of contact. Cool Dude Boy does get through, but he's going to let Gasman back through. Very sportsmanlike there from him, realizing he kind of tapped Gasman around there, and the Scot gets back through on the Brit. We'll see if there's any more movement in this battle. Could Cool Dude Boy pull off another move into the quadruple right-hander? It's going to be a move. Surely not. Can he make it? He does on the inside so far. He'll have the better line, and he makes it through on Gasman. What a move there from the Ferrari driver. Very, very impressive from the Hot Wheels car, getting through on the man filter of Mercedes. And show no fear, as the snake on the front of that car does not intimidate Cool Dude Boy enough, as Cool Dude Boy gets through.
Yeah, the two of them now pulling into the pit lane, and just in the nick of time as Silent Wolf is pulling onto the rear of them. And look at that, an entire pit stop ahead of his teammate on the same strategy there, showing the sheer pace of this man. Seems undeniable he's going to win at this point. I mean, completely untouchable. Bunny is the only man, I'd say, remotely in with a shot of getting him here. 32.3 from him on very strong pace on those mediums. Seems to be keeping that consistent. Although no one on raw pace touching that for the moment. Ajax on the back of Chris Boo, actually looking to lap. And hang on a minute, is this Ajax without the presence of Morcherry? What is going on? The two of them separated for once by a car, not their teammate actually, Yax, on a different strategy. And this group of three, slightly spread out, very close together on track. You can see Chris Boo behind, moving out the way there, not wanting to bother these drivers. Cool Dude Boy has come out in P6, having got Gasman. Gasman is just behind him. Gasman putting on a pair of hard tyres to Cool Dude Boy's soft. So of course, Gasman only wants to use the hard tyres once. It costs you a lot more time in terms of track pace. And that means you're going to vastly fall away from that Ferrari driver. Any other action going on here throughout the pack? Silent Wolf, of course. No, Bunny's quite happily chilling on his own. It does seem to be Yax on the back of Cherry Bomb. We'll see how this develops between these two. Heading down towards the final double left hand. Neither of them particularly need of a pit stop. I suspect they've had their two stops now. They're hitting to the third and final stop around, let's say, about lap 34 roughly, depending on how far pushing the tyres. Might be lap 33. I know Gasman pushing his mediums an extra lap than a lot of the rest of the drivers. 32.5 strong lap from Yax compared to Cherry Bomb's 33.8. You can see the difference there. You can see the tyre wear. Cherry Bomb, I would expect, pitting at the end of this lap.
Yeah, and I think also worth noting in terms of Gasman going to the hards, it is a possibility for rain in this race, which could be a reason that so many drivers are sticking on their softer tires for so much of the opening segment of this race. I mean, I call it the opening segment. We're well over halfway through this race now, by over 5 laps about, I would say. And Cool Dude Boy on the back of Ajax. Once again, we saw him in this situation earlier in the race. The Canadian is going to be on the outside, but wow, a lot more grip there for Cool Dude Boy. Can he make the move on the inside here? That's going to be tough. Can't quite make it yet. The Ajax Porsche stays ahead of the Hot Wheels Ferrari for the time being. A little bit of contact, though, between the two. Ajax slides himself, staying ahead of Cool Dude Boy, but Cool Dude Boy will be looking for any and every opportunity here, as he wants to get through on the Porsche, as he wants to take 5th, as he wants to get through on the people who have not yet pitted for the end of this stint. We'll see Ajax on the back of his car now, looking back at that Ferrari. Pretty intimidating seeing a car that close to the back of you. Marmite on the front of that, and Mar might just get through here. And Cool Dude Boy does get through, in fact, on Ajax. And Cherry Bomb also into the pits, worth noting. So Cool Dude Boy up into 4th. We'll see Gasman take 5th. Those cards really not working great for him. A 135. Oh, sorry. Let's take a look through his lap times. I think the 158 maybe was his in-lap, which would mean a 135 on this occasion, or last time out. Not last time out even, 2 laps ago. 33 last time out. Victory Rain better pace than him, it looks like, behind. Although it is Crispoo who sits behind on track, it is Victory Rain who sits behind in position. Cherry Bomb comes out ahead of Aloe. We've seen these two Porsches very close together for a lot of the race, along with Ajax. We'll see where he filters out as well, as he is a little ways behind the two drivers ahead, but his pace looking decent behind Cherry Bomb, just unable to get through for a good chunk of the race. Jam sits in 10th, followed by Rob on Drums in 11th, and Tiny Terror in 12th. He's going to look for a move. Takes a lot of sausage curb, a bit of oversteer there, but is he going to have an opportunity? No, the oversteer proving to be a little bit too much for Tiny Terror, a tiny bit too much, if you will, as he can't quite get through on Rob on Drums quite yet.
Yeah, these two going at it. There's, of course, the tyre difference. Tiny Terror on the reasonably fresh softs. Rob on the slightly older mediums, with a bit less fuel in his car. Can help him weight-wise. I'd expect Tiny to be the faster one. Certainly showed very, very strong pace in qualifying. He's not really been able to replicate in a race, using all of the curve there. I'd like to see him move through this quad right, but we might see him go for something into the final two right-handers. Got to get as close as he can now. Climb his foot down perfectly for the exit speed. He is close, but is he close enough? You can see Jam ahead, helping out Rob, actually giving him a bit of slipstream. Tiny Terror less likely to go for it. He's going for it anyway. Is it enough up the inside? And look at that, Rob forced to the outside where there's a bit less grip, but Tiny Terror up into P11. Textbook overtake by him, centered up the inside, broke a bit later, was able to hold it on the fresher, softer tyres. That's him up a position. Now trying to hunt down Jam, who is on the hard tyres, so actually this should be a fairly easy hunt by him.
Yeah, Tiny Terror, a beautiful move there, down the inside of the final two corners. Number 59 Ferrari sitting between Robin Drums and Jam, and you can see how rapidly he's gaining on Jam. Could it be 2 moves in the space of half a lap? It just might be on that best water technology BWT Mercedes. Frankershocks Motors is going to get through, and lots of brilliant sponsors on this grid. I have to say, iHeartRadio on Rob back there. You can see him in this view, a very cool view, in fact, kind of with the very active movement. I like that. As Tiny Terror, though, is through on Jam now. Tiny Terror is going to be setting his sights on Ajax up ahead, but Ajax a good distance up ahead. You can see him, the last of the drivers, exiting the quadruple right-hander now. Jam does sit between Tiny Terror and Rob, though, as Crispoo getting some blue flags. And let's take a look here and see the top 3 even, their pace at the moment. It's a 31.6 and a 31.4 in the past 2 laps, a 34.1 and a 32.4, but a 2 31.7s recently for Bunny, so good pace on those mediums. as Yax as well, 33.3 at 32.6. So not bad pace from him, but that 31.7 or 2 from Bunny's very strong. 31.6 and a 31.5 from Cool Dude Boy. Those softs very rapid at this stage in the race. He's looking at the back of the Vodafone Mercedes driven by Canadian Yax. We'll see where the Brit can bring himself in a couple laps time.
Yeah, I mean, that 31.7 on the medium tyres is crazy pace. That's going to be a huge advantage over any of the soft runners, as pretty much setting the soft pace on medium tyres. That is what you want to do for the three-stop, using that clean air to your advantage to silent wolf into the pit lane. But yet, again, in this time, for the final time, he's setting himself up for a 14-lap stint on the medium tyres that he's got to use, mandatory, of course. Have to use each chosen compound at least once the battle for what is now P2 still raging on. When I say raging on, they're not exactly nose to tail. The softs though still with a fair bit of life left to them, more than half of their grip showing. So I thought I saw a battle going on further back down the order. Perhaps I was mistaken and it was a lap car. Never mind, Robin Drums on his mediums going for jam on the hards. Tiny Terror having pulled ahead of these two. I've seen both his overtakes on those two within about half a lap for both of them, actually, wasn't it? Here we go, Rob having a little look, deciding not to go for a move. Staying right on the back, taking quite a shallow line that's going to cost him in terms of exit speed. Yes, it certainly appears to. Back, not massively, but enough to stop him going for the move. Just that first chicane. If we see anything, it'll be into the hairpin of Sector 2, the helicopter above. Give these guys a little hello. That wonderful Mercedes rear staring Rob in the face, taunting him, saying, "This is my way of track, you won't be getting through." How long can hard tyres hold off from the American driver?
I think also worth noting that the helicopters he mentioned, those helicopters, both on this variation of the circuit, Gardens, and on Seaside, get terrifyingly close to the track. It's absurd when you're a driver. It's kind of scary seeing how low down they get, especially at Seaside. They get even closer to the ground there. But nonetheless, Rob on Drums on the back of Jam, sitting there, the American on the Brit. We'll see just running along his rear end, almost there. Not quite yet. He's going to have to look through the quadruple right-hander. A little bit of a wider entrance from Jam that could give Rob on Drums an opportunity. The hards will always struggle there, but it's Cool Dude Boy and Yax who are battling up for second. Ferrari versus Mercedes, soft versus medium. We've seen this so many times during this race. Mercedes on mediums, a Ferrari on softs. We'll see here now as well, though. Victory Rain, a 32.3 recently. That's a very good lap time from him on the mediums, sitting on the back of Gasman. Gasman, of course, I believe on the hards for this stint. So we'll see if Gasman, just how much time does he lose on those hards. They could pay dividends come the end of the race when he'll be able to take his final stint on the mediums, when a lot of other drivers will be on their hard stints. But for the time being, he is bleeding time, and Victory Rain will be getting ever closer in his mirrors. Victory Rain is going to be looking for every opportunity he can here. The Porsche driver does not want to get stuck behind someone on the hards. That being said, Gasman's fuel looking quite low. He may have to pit quite soon. In fact, I wouldn't be surprised to see him pitting at the end of this lap, with 12 laps to go at the end of this lap. And that is the regular stint distance Gasman seems to have been doing throughout this race. We'll see, does he go into the pits here? Gasman does indeed pull off to the left, releases Victory Rain, and that is a terrifying sentence to say if you've seen Victory Rain over the past few seasons. He has some unbelievable pace when you unleash him into fresh air. It is Cool Dude Boy getting a lot of air on the left-hand side of his car, then the right-hand side, then the left-hand side. So lots of, spending almost more time in the air than on the track is Cool Dude Boy, but he does sit behind Yax now with a very good opportunity potentially in the next couple laps. Granted, looking at his fuel, he might not be able to stay out on the track very much longer, but Cool Dude Boy looking strong in this race.
Yeah, I mean, looking at his lap times the last couple of laps, looking at how he clatters over the curb, certainly seems to be losing time. You'd expect a bit more pace of him here. End of lap 32. Based off the previous 8 lap stints, he will be pitting for mediums, an 11 lap sprint to the end on those mediums, flat out in this car, based on fuel. Yax will have a few more laps to go for a move. Has been able to fend him off. That means these two pretty much just going to be matching each other for stint. Corderboy in the mediums, Yax on the hards, the shorter stint for him, so less fuel to worry about. So we've got a spinner further back down the order. Victory Rain round for the second time this race. Front right of the car damage, interestingly, given he seemed to crash on the outside. And that is going to take a big chunk of time out of his race. We'll wait and see how much, based off what the end of his lap is. There's no Yax, is in both of those drivers in that battle for P2, beating Yax and Corderboy both. I expect to see mediums for the Ferrari, hards for the Mercedes. I think it's Mercedes.
I would think Ferrari would run the hards as well.
Yeah, really struggling there with Durain into the pit lane. Guess we can't see his lap time. It costs him massively. There we go. Our net lead driver just having to work his fuel. At 14 lap stint, he's got a fuel save, but it is certainly manageable. 9/10 red in the first sector. Bunny's looking to pit at the end of this lap. He will have a 10 lap stint on the hard compound. But he has done an almighty job this medium stint. I mean, back-to-back 31.7s on medium tyre. That's more than a lot of the soft riders have been able to manage. So put himself in with a good shot of the win. Let's have a look further down. Jam into the pits. Pool Shark, I think just ahead of a battle. Tiny Terror, Victory Rain here. Well, this could be an interesting one. Warm, soft and Tiny Terror versus fresh, hard on Victory Rain. Pace versus pace and consistency against each other. Pitted at the battle. Tiny Terror faster if he can keep it going. As Victory Rain, having had a couple of spins, will have had his confidence knocked just a little bit. I think ahead of them they do have a lap car, as that is not the yellow Mercedes of Gazman. That is Chris Boo's car. I think is still sitting in P14. Only 14 drivers, as Ben had disconnect during qualifying. Actually, I don't know if we've heard the cause of that thus yet, so I cannot inform you as to why. We'll have a look around the field more, see if we've got anything else going on. A lot of drivers on this main straight now. I mean, looking up and down here, 3 cars ahead, 3 cars behind. Cherry Bomb still needed to pit. The sky still nice and clear. You can see the sun reflecting off that front nose.
And out onto the hards is Bunnies and Yax as well. So the Mercedes definitely doing their hard stints now, and the Ferraris as well, it seems. We will see how close is Bunnies to Silent Wolf. A very strong stint last time, but not sure just how close he is to Silent Wolf at this stage of the race. A couple drivers up there on the mini-map. It is the closer of the two is Silent Wolf, so that's not an insignificant gap, but that is definitely not a massive gap between the leading 2 drivers. Depending on who has better hard pace, this could go the way of either driver. I would think Silent Wolf, of course, with a massive advantage here. If I had to guess, I'd say about 5, 6, maybe 7, 8 seconds. But the Mercedes not too far back. We'll see what kind of lap time it is for Cherry Bomb here. There we go, Silent Wolf at 33 something. It's a 33 something for Bunnies as well, but that was an outlap for Bunnies. We'll see Cherry Bomb here still staying out of the pits. He's going to have a very short final stint here on these medium tires. He should be putting on the hards for his next stint though. Yax, solid lap times there from most drivers in the field I'm seeing. Aloe and Ajax, Gazman there in 8th. That's a 32.7, so he is looking strong at this stage. He has the mediums on. It's Tiny Terror into the pit lane. Victory Rain does get ahead of him with that. The hards will be given fresh air. We'll see what he can do with those. Aloe sits in a comfortable position in 6th, though, just behind Cool Dude Boy, and a little ways ahead of Ajax.
Yeah, Aloe looking like he's still pushing pit stop based off his fuel, but he just wants to save himself for a short hard stint at the end. I believe doing 13 lap stints on the mediums here. So we'll see him pit at the end of lap 39 if all goes well for him. Possibly slightly earlier remains to be seen. And this group of drivers now really close from 3rd down to I think 7th, not separated by too much here. All kind of congregated together, and with a lap car giving Cherry Bomb that little bit of advantage. Even though lap cars move well out of the way, the drivers here very good at doing so. It always still costs you a little bit of time. You're slightly hesitant to get close. Although sometimes there is a nice bit of slipstream as Cherry Bomb there. I don't know if you noticed, not going full brake pressure through into that braking zone. I wonder if that was a deliberate choice for his tyres or not. I know some of the drivers, certainly myself, when I do races sometimes, I almost get ankle fatigue towards the end of the race. I'm not putting full brake pressure, I'm not braking as much as I should be. We'll see if he does the same again into this next braking zone. No, look again there, not fully on the brake. That potentially could have him running deep at some point. No one quite close enough to be capitalising on this, of course, but means he's going to get the habit of braking early, given he's not pressing the brakes quite as hard.
Yeah, good catch there. I had not noticed that myself, and very interesting to get that little insight on the brake pressure that certain drivers are applying. Ajax not too far ahead of Gasman and Cool Dude Boy here. Cool Dude Boy will be looking to get ahead of Gasman soon if he can, and Gasman, of course, will be looking to get ahead of Cool Dude Boy, although I should say Cool Dude Boy should be on the hards, so Gasman on the mediums should be safe. And I believe I accidentally said Gasman will be looking to get ahead of Cool Dude Boy. He should be looking to get ahead of Ajax. If he's looking to get ahead of Cool Dude Boy, he is seeing the wrong names. So hopefully he is looking to get ahead of Ajax here. The Canadian up ahead, brothers with Gasman's teammate, in fact. So Gasman knows what one brother's pace is like. We'll see if he gets the gauge for the other driver's pace. We'll see here the Man Filter's car on board with this Mercedes. A beautiful onboard, it must be said, as it looked like Pool Shark into the pits there. Ajax in the Porsche keeps going while Aloe pits, so a different strategy to his teammate now. Ajax continues on, and I have to say it's getting to look a bit dark out now. Clouds really coming in over the circuit. Just a couple laps ago, the clouds, the sun, I should say, brightly shining on the circuit and on these cars, but now looking a bit more dark and depressing, if you will. Ajax, though, sits just ahead of Gasman, who is on those fresh mediums, who will be looking for that move. I would hate to look back and see a snake car coming at me, but that's what Ajax will be seeing if and when he looks back.
Yeah, right on the tail end, and oh, look at that, going way too deep. Can Gasman take advantage? He's going to have a bit less exit speed due to where the grip is on that corner. It does hold on despite his mistake. The tyre disadvantage needs to pit fairly soon. Perhaps the chance of rain going to help him out. Essentially means everyone else has to pit as well. He gets a freebie. Gasman, ooh, getting loose on the exit there, and that again gives Ajax just a little bit more breathing room. He's coming in way too narrow here, means going to get on the throttle later to avoid going wide. Ajax, that working for him. Also he's going slightly his way where he made that mistake. Flashing red light on the back of his car. The sky now pretty much covered in clouds in one direction. Cherry Bomb is in for his final time. And that should be on to the hard compound tyres. These two are going to be racing for P4. It's only one of them needing to pit. Ajax still has one more stop he has to do. Whether or not he likes it, his fuel won't last. Certainly the tyre rules won't like it either if he doesn't pit.
Although we can see rain coming down on the circuit.
Yeah, no,
now,
rain on
moisture in the
bottom
left.
Bunny's there showing a tiny bit of rain popping up down into that turn 5 hairpin. Very, very minor. There is certainly a tiny, tiny amount of rain on the circuit. There's a driver in the pits. Is that driver going on to wet tyres of some kind? Bit of refueling, far more refueling than I think is needed for 7 laps. Actually, no, it is about right, Matt, isn't it? And on to, it is hard tyres, it remains. Jam on intermediates.
I don't think that was hard tires for Chris Boo as well. I think that might have been intermediates.
Oh, you're right. So yeah, a couple of drivers on the intermediates, but the track only showed a fraction amount of rain briefly there before Bunny's on board. Is it just those two guys, Cherry Bomb and Jam, who are on those inters? So Cherry Bomb, Jam and Chris Boo, so three of them I guess. But it does seem to be just those three, though importantly, given we've had rain on the circuit, Ajax now has the advantage, does not have to use its hard tyres. The race, having had water detected on the track, has been declared a wet race, and therefore you do not have to use all of your mandatory compounds. So Ajax, able to do mediums on his final stint, does not have to use the hards because of that rule here in SNL. Very, very lucky for him. I believe the only driver who's in a position to take advantage of that is at the end of that lap, Cherry Bob coming in again to hit. I guess off of his intermediates, haven't seen just how dry the track is. This three-way fight here, Ajax, Cordy Boy and Gazman raging on.
Yep, although Ajax will be boxing very soon, I would imagine. Looking at his fuel and his tires, truth be told, they're not looking too pretty either, but the fuel, I think, will be the big deterrent to continuing, given, to be honest, if I was him, I'd be scared if I'd even make it around the end of this lap. So definitely not going for another lap full Ajax, but the number 12 Ajax horse should be into the pits at the end of this lap, and I'm curious to see where the other top 5 drivers reside on the track. Gazman, of course, just in front of him. Okay, so a solid gap for Yax there, just coming up to the penultimate corner. Bunny's going across the line now with 33.5, and Silent Wolf just exiting turn 1, so still not a huge gap between that top 2. You can see 2 cars back there, the second of which will be Bunny's, the first of which will be the lapped Chris Boo. Back on soft tires, so he will have good pace at this stage in the stint. And yeah, it looks like Jam also trying to take the intermediates off. It was a gamble for the 3 drivers that put those inters on, Chris Boo, Jam, and more Cherry, but they're all going to put the softs and mediums back on now. As Jam, I think, put on a set of mediums. I'm not actually entirely sure. That kind of looks like... Yes, that is another set of mediums. Okay, my eyes were playing tricks on me. So Rob on drums now, right on the back of Tiny Terror, though. We could have a battle to the end of the race on our hands here. The American and the Brit right close together. We'll see if there's any opportunities here for Rob on drums down towards turn 1.
Yeah, Rob with the tyre advantage on the mediums versus the hards of Tiny Terror. And of course, it means the longer the stint goes on, the more that falls the way of the Ferrari. He showed you the raw pace in qualifying, struggled a little bit in the race. So we'll see what these two can do, how they can hold on. Hop back to that battle in a little bit, have a look around the rest of the field. So Ajax here has come out on the medium tyres, taking advantage of that right on the back of Velovi, who is in the hards. So that could make the difference, and we'll see how it goes between those two. Victory Reign in a little bit of no man's land, isn't it, at the moment? Calder Boy seems to have resided in P5. That 142 on lap 35 hurt him badly, likely a spin, but we did not catch on the stream. Somewhere Gazman happily drove away on his medium tyres, and this looks a pretty solid P4 for him. Yax fairly low on fuel with 3 laps to go, having less than 25%. If he's going full beans, that might not be enough. He's going to have to do a little bit of fuel saving. There you can see compared to his teammate, Bunny's ahead of him on track, and Bunny's now really starting to close in towards Silent Wolf. Let's see where he is at the second time. So that's 4 minutes 18 seconds compared to Bunny's 4 minutes 22 seconds. Yeah, about 4 seconds adrift there from the leader. Very, very close, as we've missed Rob getting past Tiny Terror here for P10. It's still right on the back, does not seem to be that much slower. We'll watch these guys, see if they've got any battling going on. Yeah, there must have been a mistake if there's a 35 for even on the hard tyres. Expect to see drivers well, even on the slower side, 34s, if not 33s. strange.
So likely a couple of mistakes there for Tiny Terror, in fact, with a 35.6 and a 35.4, but that's a mistake for Rob on drums. It'll give Tiny Terror a very good opportunity here down towards turn 5. That is the hairpin at the beginning of sector 2. Number 59, number 42. We'll see which comes out on top. Will it be Tiny Terror? Will it be Rob on drums? Rob has the outside line. He has later braking, but Tiny Terror's inside line paying dividends. And already through on the American, this battle will rage on until the end of the race, I'm sure. Both of these drivers, well, not both of them, sorry. Rob on drums on mediums, Tiny Terror on hards, I believe. And the Ferrari and the Porsche will be having a lovely battle here at the moment, and it is Tiny Terror who sits ahead currently.
Yeah, always nice to see battles up and down the field, and especially right at the end of an hour-long race like this one. The fact they're still chopping and changing, you still have no idea which round the two of them are going to finish. It's the same up here for P7, P8, Ajax right on the back of Aloe on that hard compound, so Ajax going to have that advantage for tyres. But is that enough to get him through into P7? Aloe, I think I can speak for all of us now when I say the hardest driver to overtake when you're battling him. There is nobody who makes his car seat in a more awkward place than Aloe. Beautiful defending by him. Very frustrated to try and get past, but he does a wonderful job of maintaining his track position. There's a small mistake there, but that part of the track not enough to cost him the actual position. We'll hop back and forth with these two here. Can Rob get the better X here? Does not appear so. Not close enough to go for that move. Surely I should believe this must be getting quite close to the end of the race. Yeah. Silent Wolf now on the final lap. Bunny's so close still, but still with a back mark between. Not too much fuel to push through. Speaking of not too much fuel, my goodness, Yax. 1 lap to go. That is barely any fuel. He's going to have fun with that one. Going to have to be fuel saving like crazy. Always risks not making it to the end of the race. Hop back and forth with one of these two battles here. Ajax still chasing down Aloe, although cutting the inside corner, not that's to his advantage, giving him less exit speed because of the less traction.
Yep, and Ajax looking for a move here on Aloe. It's the final lap of the race. It's do or die if you want 7th position here. Ajax right on the back of the 7-Eleven car. Can he make a move into the chicane? Potentially. Doesn't even really think about it too much. Sits behind him. He's going to go for a switchback here. It's going to not quite work out there. Very difficult to pull off a switchback in that chicane at the best of times. And the best of times is not when you're defending, or apologies, trying to attack Aloe. But I do believe our leaders are about to finish the race. It is Silent Wolf who's going to come across the line in first. The driver from Mauritius is the driver on top once again for Ferrari. Bunnies comes home in second. It's Yax who's out of fuel. Yax is out of fuel. He is not accelerating properly. He is down at 60 miles an hour. He is not going to have good speed down this start-finish straight. He'll wish the finish line was a bit closer because he has Gasman closing in on him rapidly. There is Yax on the left. Gasman takes the podium away from him in the last moments. Cool Dude Boy even swipes 4th from him. It's going to be 5th for Yax. It's going to be 6th for Victory Reign. But it's 7th and 8th for Aloe and Ajax. But in what order? These two so close together. Ajax is going to be looking for the acceleration. He won't have an opportunity unless he can use the slipstream. He pulls out to the side. Can Ajax get past Aloe before the end? No, he can't. Aloe takes 7th, Ajax 8th. It'll be Cherry Bomb 9th. Tiny Terror will come home in 10th. Rob on Drums 11th. Jam in 12th. 13th is Pool Shark. 14th is Chris Boo. But Tiny Terror will be the last one to cross the line. Here in 10th place, the Ferrari driver for Francorchamps Motors will come across the line at the end of lap 43 as 10th place.
Yeah, very interesting that Tiny Terror finishing a lap ahead of Rob on drums, given the two of them were battling. I mean, you can see the 150 on lap 42 there by Rob. There must have been a spin mistake we saw somewhere. So Tiny Terror coming out ahead of that battle. But it is Silent Wolf who once again back-to-back taking the victories. Won last week at Lagomaggiore, won again this week, and this time with fastest lap just to top it all off. I believe it was him that got pole position round one. Actually, I'll have a quick check as I have that here. No, it's Victory Rain. He got P3 in qualifying round one. So yet to get a pole position, but he's now managed 2 wins, 1 fastest lap. And certainly with a very, very good charge here. So stewards have yet to run through any incidents that have been reported, but we shall give you the provisional stand-ins. So, unsurprisingly, with 2 victories from 2 rounds, up the top of the timing board, we have got Silent Wolf on 50 points. Reminder again, provisionally. In joint second, we have got Bunnies and Gasman, both of them. Gasman having got a double third position, third this week, third last week. Bunnies P4 round one, but this time a much, much stronger race. Amazing pace on those mediums. Those two tied on 40 points. Just behind the two of them, you've got Victory, who round one had pole position, brought that home to a P2, not quite able to contest with Silent Wolf and got stuck behind him a bit too much of the race. And then this week, only getting P6, but that's enough to put him on 36 points, 4 points behind Gasman and Bunnies, and 14 adrift of Silent Wolf. Then a further 4 points down is Cool Dubois with a 6th round one and a 4th this time around. Still no podiums for that man, but a pole position and a fastest lap underneath him so far this season. A bit of a big jump again to the next two drivers, Morcherry and Yax, who are P6 and 7 tied. Yax and Morcherry, both of them actually having got a P5 and a P9. So jumping around the field a little bit, but then both on 24 points. Ajax just behind them on 22 points, P8 in the stand-ins. Then you have got Aloe, Rob, Tiny Terror, Pool Shark, and Jam, Crispoo, and Ben for the full-time drivers. Grim is sitting P14 just ahead of Crispoo there. But I think that brings the stream to a close, unless you've got any closing remarks for us.
Well, just quickly, if you're wondering, and I doubt you are, but if you're wondering why Cool Dude Boy gave you the points instead of me, it's because he can do math extremely well. So he those provisional standings, I can guarantee you, are accurate to the provisional standings, of course. As stated previously, stewards have not yet given any reports. We don't know if there are any incidents under investigation, whether any potential incidents are going to result in penalties. We can just give you what we know now, though, and I guarantee you what we know now, or what you've just been told, is almost certainly quite accurate. But I think a big thank you from me. A lot of fun to be back doing commentary again, and for GTE this time. So I'll let you take it away one last time.
It's been nice to commentate. Been first time for a while, so I think we've both been quite rusty on it. But thank you guys for watching, and it shouldn't be us next week, but if it is, see us next week. If not, catch the race live on Sunday night, as it is the Sunday Night Race League. And from us, thank you for watching.